And I've been drumming forever. I call it life through rhythm. And it's the best of who we are coming through the power of drumming. And I realized as I went forward on my journey in drumming, it was really who I became as a person on the way. We play who we are. So I noticed when my focus got better, my drumming got better. And as I continued to drum and didn't quit and went through with qualities like perseverance, humility, grit, my confidence improved and I was able to drum better. And it was a cycle that continued to grow as I kept going forward. And this has been my passion. I love it. I've always tried to form bands, join bands, and just play drums as much as possible. And I started when I was super young, and in school I was trying to form bands, was in a really cool original band here. We were this close to a record deal. And then I got hired for my first pro band, which means you're basically handed a full calendar of dates, and it's like you're playing four or five nights a week, and it's kind of a drummer's dream. It's like, this is your full-time job. You're gonna hit things and get paid and just do it constantly, and this is like awesome. So first show, and this was actually pretty close, I think on Dunlop Street. This was many, many years ago. And first show, and I'm playing, and how many drummers are here, by the way? Like 0, right? Okay, so I can't nerd out on the gear I had, but I had like a new ride cymbal and like really cool drums. Everything was tuned, and I was like fired up to play these drums. And I'm sitting playing them. Can you guys visualize it? Right? They're kind of quiet right now, but just imagine me playing them. And for the drummer's perspective of what it looks like, let me kind of show you what it looks like. So I'm here playing. You see the singer's back basically like this. This is kind of what you see, like this. All right? And that's pretty much the whole band. That's your view. And I expected, so I'm starting to play. It's my first pro gig with the band. It was awesome. Gear's looking good. Everything's good. And I'm starting to play, and I'm like, wow, this is going so well. And I think I'm going to get the look like, yeah, man, you know, that kind of look over the shoulder. And the look I actually got was like lasers, daggers. It's hard to duplicate, but you can just imagine the stare. And he mouthed the words to me. He said, "It's not an effing drum solo." And then he turned back and I'm like, so I was thinking by the time this song is done or the set's done, I'm thinking I'm gonna get fired from the first show. And this is where I realized what I call the 4 offenses of drummers and how these tie into life. And it turns out I was breaking all 4 of these offenses. And since then, I've talked to many other musicians, and this is kind of what bothers them the most about drummers, okay? So I'm gonna share the 4 things with you. The first one is space. Now for drummers, this is a challenge to leave space. If you're a singer, you have to take a breath. If you play trumpet, you have to take a breath. You know, there's certain instruments where you have to actually breathe. If you're playing drums, man, I can hit those drums as I breathe and just make a lot of noise and leave 0 space. So it turns out that show, I wasn't leaving a lot of space for the other people in the band. Now, think of this as applied to your life. Space. How much space do you allow yourself in your life? Solitude. Time without devices and technology. You know, walk in the forest. Just doing nothing, no thing. Human being, not human doing, right? So space, it's really hard on the drums and in life. So second one, dynamics. Now sometimes drummers, they got one dynamic. Does anybody know what it is? It's like the band Motorhead. It's like louder than everything else. That was like their slogan, loud and louder still. So that's pretty much what I was doing to get the look, to get the stare. And dynamics really, to me, means expressing who you are with emotion. So in your life, Are you proud to be yourself? Feel your fingerprint right now. Feel your thumb. There's one you, and there's something that you have that nobody else can give. And this is really, when you bring forth dynamics in drums and music, you are showing the world who you are. And that's a beautiful thing. But I was playing with maximum loud dynamics. Now, the other one is time. So this is something that drummers do. Do you guys think, actually, if you've seen the movie Whiplash, and he kind of looks a little like me. It's like the craziest drum teacher in the world. And rushing or dragging. Now, I don't know what I was doing that day, but I was probably going way too fast, which means that everybody else has to go as fast as me. And in life, really, time is about accuracy, like taking the time to be really, really good at what you do. And just being precise and accurate and taking the time and foresight to really bring craftsmanship to what you do. And the last one is listening. And, 2 ears, 1 mouth, listen more than you speak. And what I learned the hard way was drumming is really about being a servant leader. You're really leading the band, but by serving the band. And I take this into life to try to strive to achieve this in my life, be a servant leader. To what Jeffosaurus was talking about with being a teacher, was serving through what I do, and through drumming and trying to empower others through this. So those 4 things, once I learned to apply them to my life and my drumming, really started making bands better for me being there and becoming a servant leader. So I did not get fired. I was given a second chance, and I started to get the look after a while, like, yeah, instead of the death stare. But the 4 offenses of drummers: time, space, dynamics, and listening. So think of how this applies to your life, if you play drums or not, and think of, your own heartbeat and the rhythm that you have in your life, the rhythm of your habits, the rhythm of what you do day to day. The little things matter the most. And thanks a lot for having me in my hometown. It's been an honor. My name's Chris Lesso, and big round of applause for everybody here, all the other speakers. Jeff Soros, thank you, man.